hotel. And oh my gosh, I met more people that brought their children to Hollywood, and somehow or another, somebody found that there was a sign in a child's hand that had a star in it. If it had a star in it, it said that you would get fame and success. And so there are stars that show up in people's hands, and the most I've ever seen in one hand was 7 stars. But the children would show up with the mother, and they'd say, "Okay, look at my child's hands." And I'd say, "Nope, no star. Just take your child and go back to Nebraska and have a very good life. Hollywood isn't for you." Because I just really didn't support the whole deal of, mothers being flesh peddlers. But I don't know. There's plenty of people.
Kids,
oh my gosh,
stage
children. Stage
yeah,
mom. Boy, they are aggressive. They are a breed all of their own. And God bless them, because their drive and momentum does create some great child actors and actresses. But I don't know. I just didn't have the stomach for it. I don't really know what to say about that part of the story. But I was at this hotel, and it was 2 doors over from Dan Aykroyd's House of Blues. And when the hotel first opened, all the people that were performing at the House of Blues stayed in the hotel. And so it was really interesting. I met a whole bunch of people who I had no idea who they were. And my favorite line was the actress who was part of Friends, Jennifer Aniston. She was in having dinner with her mother.
No, it was Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox. Okay, see, I can't even remember it.
Yeah.
So Courtney Cox, I say to her, and I say, "Okay, so what do you do?" "I'm doing a reading for her." And she goes, "I'm an actress." And I go, "Well, in this town, there's 2 types of actresses: working actresses and non-working actresses." And she said, "No, I'm a working actress." And then I looked at her a little closer, and I never figured it out. It was later that I had to go and look it up. But I met a lot of personalities up there and did a lot of readings for people, and it was a lot of fun. But I don't think I have the temperament for Hollywood. Something's missing in me, and that's not the norm for California.
I went to see the shark, and I saw that Back to the Future car. Now, and I went out and where the shark was, and this town would have a flood come through, old town like out of World War II or something. Is that Universal Studios where they have the Back to the Future car and the shark? Because I heard one of y'all mention the shark. I think it was you, Suzanne. So we had to go see. I wanted to go see the Back to the Future car, so I did do that within that 5 years. So funny the little things you remember, but I didn't remember if it was Universal or not. So that was didn't they have a huge theater too there called Universal?
Yep.
It seems like I went to the movie there, but a premiere or something. I don't know what I did there, but huge theater, and you had to go through, and they took you on a tour, and then they had that little town, didn't they? Or is that true? Is that in my mind? Remember the little town square that was in so many things?
Yeah, my dad invented the solid tire that was used for that ride, because one of the points in the ride is that they have to be able to bring you to a stop, and that was probably one of the first really big projects where the solid tires my dad had invented were used in something that was kind of theatrical, and he used that film of the that ride with the shark over and over and over again. That was kind of his material, so that's the only reason why I happen to know that ride, because I've never been inside of Universal Studios.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess the tram comes by there, and the shark comes up, and then it sinks back down into the water.
Right. That's right. It's really a lot of fun, and up comes that big giant shark and just scares you. It is so much fun. Now they have at Universal Studios, they have the Harry Potter Village, and so people go there and do the whole...
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, they get dressed in costumes, and they go and spend the day there, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, amusement parks. I like water parks, but I'm not an amusement park person, which is weird.
Oh, I love amusement parks. But now, are they closed down? Because I don't even know if Orlando, here where I live in Florida, folks, I live in Gulf Breeze. They live in Orange County. And Rich does paintings for a lot of the local people. But he can do any paintings if you're interested from a photo and put it up on his little easel and do your little watercolor art if you want to get really fancy. He does real expensive oil paintings for commissions, and I can't see it, but I put it up on tonight's show, so when it goes out to all these radio shows, the description will have Rich Flynn and his little thing about you can order his artwork. And I did that intentionally because, Suzanne found me, and we came together over our ACO club with Butwin. But Rich is taking an interest in what she and I do and came on a couple of shows, which shocked me because most of the husbands, when I've worked on radio, they're not interested, not even my own. So I think it was cool.
I'll tell you one thing. One of the happiest moments working with Suzanne is especially at the tango was when she's busy and I'm busy, and I'm painting and she's doing readings. It's just there's such a feeling inside of me like, oh, everything is just really cool, I don't know what it is, but when she's working and I'm working, and then we meet up afterwards, and say, okay, how did that go? Okay, how'd this go? That's just, to me, that's just a really an amazing feeling. I can't describe what it is.
That's your bliss, huh?
It's our bliss.
Yeah, it's like
it
is like a bliss moment.
Yeah, we've always worked well together. Yeah, we're quite lucky. That is one of the things that we looked for a long time. We said, we've got to find another place that'll have an artist and a psychic. But it really wasn't about the fact that I was a psychic and he was an artist. It was about the fact that there were so many different types of entertainment, and there were so many. I mean, I brought in the psychic talent for the situation. There were different types of psychics. I had one guy his name was Richard Bates, and he dressed up in this Renaissance costume, and he would read people's eyes, and he did iridology. And then I had another girlfriend, and her name was Stephanie Harnack, and she would come in and she would read tarot cards. And I just had all of these different psychics that I brought in to take and work inside of the restaurant. And, and Rich had all these different artist friends that were there, and we had all these different artists, and then there were the dancers, and then there were the musicians. So when you went out to dinner, and then you had a whole show, and it really and we talked to somebody, and she said, no, there'll never be another situation like that. There just won't, and it's true. We haven't found anything even remotely close to that idea, but it's a great idea for a meal.
What kind of dancers? Because now I worked in theater. I love dancing. And yeah. Patrick Swayze is the most famous person that I met in Houston. And then something Black. He was a guitarist. He married Lisa Hartman. And I subbed at the Royal Coach Inn. And her dad worked at Channel 13. Knew Lisa would something Black. Country. What was his name? Y'all aren't into country, are you? But he came.
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Lewis,
Black.
But not Lewis.
Tim Black? I don't know. Have to look up to Lisa Hartman.
Yeah.
I used to go hear him play at night at one of the clubs in Pasadena.
Oh, wow.
And then I worked with Mickey Gilley. I don't know if y'all know who that is.
Yeah.
At his club. And then I met, what was that guy with a horse face? Some famous. I met a whole bunch of famous people in Houston, and then working with Bob Hope, and it was Gerlach Entertainment Agency, but he booked all these famous names back in the early '60s and late '60s, early '70s, and then that's where I met Ronald Reagan at one of those big la-di-da country club things or conventions, and they pulled him out in the hallway and pulled me out in the hallway and told us both to look at each other. That was so strange, and I to this day. Now, I know that when I was a psychic, the most famous I read Michael Jackson when he came out to Hawaii. He found me, like like you found me, Suzanne. Are you? But not really. He had men call me. He had his people call me and bug me, and I turned them down for 2 or 3 days. And finally, I didn't hang up one day. But I didn't know it was Michael Jackson. I'm sure if they would have told me, they just kept telling me it was some famous person because I'd hang up on them.
Right.
There's something about Men in Black or security people. You just know, folks. I can't explain it, but especially as a psychic, it's just click, you know. So, but finally they got me to come up, and I told them, I tell you what, because they just caught me at a weak moment. I was jogging back then. I was in health and I was in the Navy, but I told them I was going to jog up to Diamond Head because I lived in Kahala, right down from the Hilton where the Clintons came, you know. They had my Cadillac blocked off when the Clintons came in, right on the ocean. But I lived in this beautiful mansion. I was very fortunate for different times in my life. Tom Selleck and I hung out at the Black Orchid. He had a club in Hawaii. But I met lots of famous people, but I still today think Michael Jackson's the most famous. And he came to me to ask me. He was in a big, long stretch in Hawaii, black stretch, and I didn't know who he was in the back, but what he did was they finally got me when I said, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you if you want to find me. And they found me, the Men in Black. I guess they probably followed me from my house, but I did. I jogged up. And so they caught me while I was catching my breath. You can picture me in shorts with my hands on my sides. In 30, I was like 36, I think, 33, 36. And I still remember it was mid-afternoon, and he'd ask a question, they'd come ask me and go back and tell him. Then he'd send them over and ask me another question, go back and tell him. And this is how we did for a while, and back and forth until finally he trusted me enough because he was asking me about Las Vegas and stuff to help them downtown save Las Vegas, which I didn't know why. But after that, and then he booked a hotel down in Hawaii, and it was like $5,500. But the way he said it was like, oh, don't worry about it, it's only like $5,500. But I was like, only $5,500 for the night. Like, it was really cheap, you know, to shut it down for just him and me. But you know, but I didn't charge him, folks. Even, you know, I was a psychic, but I had my psychic sign up for the Ascension Psychic Awakening classes, and he found me in the newspapers. What I think,
Right.
But his brothers worked with a friend of mine in my company then too, over in California, Gulu Wadamul, and then the Jackson brothers. And I always thought they were so cool from Indiana and going through Motown, and I'm sure y'all know that story, right, in California.
Right. We do.
Do y'all have? Did y'all meet a lot of famous people? Let's ask both of y'all. Who's the most famous? I heard Courtney Cox, but Rich, and is there anybody else? Suzanne.
Oh, gosh.
I say Bob Hope and Michael Jackson are the two most.
Rich, you know, you keep better track of the people that I've talked to that are famous. Jerry Springer. People,
gosh.
Cast of Desperate Housewives.
Right. Can you do music? Who was? Oh my God, my brain's not working. Who was Peggy Lipton? Who you did that party for?
Oh yeah, let's see. Who is that? Oh my gosh, we really can't remember. But let's see. Let's start with some of the singers. Who was the woman who did the Sugar Shack?
Oh, B-52s.
B-52s.
So they would come to Tango, and then also you would do readings on them. Plus, you were
you did a party at Maria Shriver's house.
No, I didn't do a party.
That'd be a big one.
I did do a reading for Maria Shriver. Yes.
Oh my gosh, wasn't that Schwarzenegger's first or second wife? I don't remember which one.
It was
one of his wives, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was married to her at the time. And
I met him too. That's cool. We got a lot in common. I didn't read for him or his wife. Wow. There's one connection.
Tom Selleck, Mr. Blackwell.
You met Tom Selleck like I did?
I did.
That is weird. Did you do a reading for him?
Yeah. Who else?
Gary Busey, Larry Sanders.
I love Gary Busey. He's one of my favorite actors.
Oh my gosh, Hey,
I
I'll
love
give you,
him.
love Gary Busey. Gary Busey still living in the same place. That was Gary Shandling. Who
Gary
is
Shandling.
I like
Who
Gary Shandling. You got
Yeah.
good people in your karma.
Well,
Karma Dharma.
so who is that guy who we're thinking of, that producer in Bel Air, Peggy